So, good evening. Welcome back to a live show. I haven't done a live show at 9 o'clock for quite a while. It's been uploads, but I thought, you know what? The season starts in less than 72 hours. Why don't I get a guest on this time round? We'll get a Chelsea fan on. They've had a madness this summer. And I see a video of this young man's the other day on Twitter, and I was wetting myself laughing. So I said, you know what? Come on the show, guy. If you're not a deluded Chelsea fan. So welcome, Matisse, to the show. Hope you're good, man.
I'm good. I'm very good. It's a pleasure to be here. So yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. No,
it's cool, man. It's like I see you trigger a lot of fans on Twitter, and it's like, you know what? You're like a younger version of me. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I followed you, messaged you, and obviously you're here now. The reason I wanted to get you on is because Chelsea have obviously done a madness. Arsenal are. And I wanted to get it from a different perspective. We'll obviously come to that in a minute, yeah? But obviously, as an outsider, as a non-Arsenal fan looking at Arsenal Football Club, what I wanted to ask you, obviously we're going to ask about Chelsea and a load of other teams as well along the way, and take some comments from that as well. I wanted to ask, like, when Arsenal were officially in the banter era, I still think we are, with Wenger and then obviously Emery and now Arteta, how do you, as a Chelsea fan, see Arsenal in all three of them little timestamps, like the Wenger and then Emery coming in, and then obviously I know we beat you in the cup, but how do you see us under all three of them with Wenger, Emery, and Arteta?
I think I'll start with Wenger. When I see Wenger, I loads of respect for him, man. First of all, he's a club legend, probably your greatest manager ever, one of the Premier League greats. I felt like the game just started to leave him behind a bit, but he was definitely still shielding a lot of, Kroenke's bad work. Do you know what I mean? Kroenke was never invested in the club. We all know he takes money out of the club. He wasn't really backing Wenger. You was losing your best player every year, whether that be Van Persie, whether that be Fabregas, Alex Song. I could go through it all day, and I'm sure your followers and your subscribers here will be filled with pain as I read the names out. So I felt like Wenger was that shield, and he wasn't the main problem, but he was part of the problem because he was okay with shielding, and he wasn't coming out and blaming and pointing the finger at Kroenke and saying, "Listen, I need to be backed." He was much more happier to just continue to tick by and continue to get top four. But what I will say is, back then at least you had a style to your play, and you knew what Arsenal were going to come with. And sometimes you would be weak defensively, and you would concede set pieces, and we go Arsenal again. But you played good football. You had Cazorla, Wilshere, Ramsey. You had great team goals. There was some sort of identity going into Emery. The identity was gone. And for me, Emery was probably out of the three by far the worst. Changing tactics too often. Again, no identity, no style of football, making odd substitutions, freezing out Ozil, but he's your best creator, but you're at home to a low block and you're not going to use him. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially when he's on that kind of money and you can't shift him and he's not going to go. So why not use him a bit? And then coming into Arteta, I really think Arteta's got off to a great start. I think he's a very talented manager. The only thing is if you don't back him correctly and you don't push his potential to the max, kind of what we're trying to do with Lampard by really backing him to the absolute fullest, so there are no excuses, then I feel like no matter what Arteta does, because I feel like he's the type of manager that can win you points, like a Klopp, where the squad is not as good as the performances and the results are given, but the manager is able to bring them up a level with their tactics. And I feel like Arteta's that kind of guy. But if you don't back him, then you're still going to fall short because everybody else is spending, everybody else is looking, like they're ambitious. So I rate Arteta. I think he's a very talented coach. He's worked with Pep. You don't work with Pep and not learn anything. You can see even Pep and those City players, they ran out of adjectives for him in terms of what he used to do for them on the training pitch and what he used to influence at City. So and obviously I have to be humble because we lost the FA Cup final and I could see how well you play. I can see the goals you're scoring against Man City in the semi, the build-up play, the way that your style of football is progressing. But at the same time, your transfer window has been unimpressive as hell. I'm not scared as a rival fan. The only person that's come in that I am like, okay, that's a good sign, and I feel like you're addressing some issues is Gabriel, but he's still going to need time. Willian, I don't rate highly at all. I think that's another David Luiz, that's another Petr Cech type signing for you lot. And even if he does okay in his first season, you're going to see as the years tick on, he's going to get shitter and shitter. And then who's your other signing at the moment, is it?
Danny Ceballos.
Ceballos, again, I personally don't know too much about him. I work pretend like I've watched him, but I've heard he's got some promise. I think you're building something. You've got Saka, Martinelli, you've got some good young players, but it's too it's too messy for me. There's too much dead wood is what I call it. You know, Mustafi, Weeze, you know, there's too much chaos going on around. So I'm not worried about Arsenal this season, but with Arteta, you have potential for sure.
Yeah, see, the chat is going lit, by the way, for you. I've got a lot of Chelsea subscribers, and a lot of them are in the chat tonight, and they're all saying Matisse is a real one. He speaks facts. So yeah, that's cool. But you know what? It's interesting hearing from a Chelsea fan that you didn't rate Emery one bit.
No.
Do you know what? I totally agree with what you said in terms of he was messy with his sub. Like I remember one game. I can't remember what team it was against, but it was very early in his reign. And I think he made 3 subs or 2 subs at half time. And I was like, rah, because we're not used to seeing subs until 70 minutes under Wenger. So we were like, oh, this is new. But then he did it constantly, right? And we blagged it with a 22 unbeaten run. Let's be real. I was at all of them games here. Man City at home. I wouldn't say they played us off the park, Man City. They beat us 2-0. Yeah, but they didn't play us off. They were in walking mode. Yeah, they weren't even trying. And Ozil had a chance where if he controls the ball, which he would normally do, it would have been 2-1 with 10 minutes to go and we're back in it. He didn't, and they won. We then went to Stamford Bridge away. We were 2-0 down real quick. We then come back to 2-2, and then you done us 3-2. We were really unlucky in that game. Really unlucky because we missed so many sitters in that game. And then after that, West Ham battered us in the first half at home. And you got the 2-2 at our place. You managed to take the point, didn't you? I remember being really pissed at that result. You managed to get the point with the that was under Arteta this season. Under Emery.
Of course. You're talking about the season before. Okay.
Emery's first away game was Chelsea, so he had Man City and Chelsea first 2 games, which was tough to start as a new manager following Wenger. But it's interesting that you say that like you didn't rate him at all, because I rated him to a certain degree. I thought, like, do you know what? Yes, he needed to be sacked. Yeah, because he's lost the dressing room. Them players are just a joke to me, mate. A lot of them, But it's interesting that you say with Arteta that unless he gets backed and this and that, then we're not going anywhere. Do you know, the one thing I've said all through lockdown and even to now, it's not so much players that we have to bring in, it's players we have to get rid of. Yeah. You know, I'm excited that Gabriel's here. I actually think opposite to you about William, but you watch William every week. I think William's decent. Yeah. And I think that he could help us. The problem we've got, in my opinion, is our midfield. You know, we did need to go out and sign centre backs, but January we signed Pablo Mari. Then we go and sign Gabriel. We had Saliba already, but hadn't played a game because we loaned him. But then we've got David Luiz that we've signed up again. And it's like, we've already got Rob Holding, Callum Chambers. Did we necessarily need so many centre backs in the space of 2 transfer windows?
The thing is, as well, is that none of your centre backs are screaming out top level. It's all screaming out, it's good, and then some average. Like Callum Chambers, how good is he really going to be?
Exactly.
Talking about Arsenal, I'm talking about, and I feel like Arsenal fans sometimes miss this. And sometimes Chelsea fans, when we're talking about these clubs, we're talking about these clubs to win titles. If that's what you're aiming for as a supporter of these 2 clubs, then that's how you need to speak about the players you're speaking about. You can't tell me Callum Chambers is good. He's good enough. If he's not good enough to start in a back line for a title-winning team, or at least compete to get into that starting 11, then he's not good enough. Unless your aspirations have dropped. If they have, let me know, but they shouldn't be. Now, Callum Chambers, for me, not good enough for Arsenal. David Luiz, again, he can be.
Don't even start me on that guy, bro. I swear down.
He makes too many mistakes. He makes too many mistakes. Well, the best I saw of David Luiz was when he played in the middle of a back 3 under Conte, and the reason it got the best out of him, and it also covered his flaws, because David Luiz is not good when he has to step into, when he has to step up and defend. You know, maybe defend 1v1, but he has to step up into the midfield or step up into the pitch, because if he makes an error, then it's game over. Happened with Salah. He got dragged out wide. Happened with Suarez when he was in the PSG shirt, and Suarez is at Barcelona and he got nuts. Happened at Chelsea many times. If David Luiz has to step out of the shield of a defense, then he either gets it or he doesn't. If he doesn't get it, you're screwed. If you back 3 and you say, listen, you're going to be the sweeper. You've got great long range passing. You've got great vision. You're good with your left foot in terms of clearing near post crosses. You're good at defending the box with your heading. Just stay in the middle and we'll shield you and surround you with others, whether that be pacey. We had Gary Cahill and Aspilicueta. They weren't even quick, but we still managed to win a title. We still managed to surround him with players. When you put him in the back four, I just feel like, same with Brazil when they got slapped up against Germany, things can go very wrong. So, unless you're going to put him in the back three, I don't think it's the answer long-term at all.
No, I agree. Yeah, that guy for me, I mean, I've seen Tierney and other players coming out, even Gabriel now, saying that he's helping me settle in. Like, he's really great in the dressing room. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. But on the pitch is where I want to see you do your damage, mate, and do your work. Yeah, and we don't need a cheerleader. Yeah, we don't need. We've already got Gunnosaurus. Do we need David Luiz as well? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we're paying you over $100,000 a week to be a cheerleader. Yeah, and on the pitch, I mean, we played Olympiacos, and Aubameyang scores a bicycle kick. We're going through. We're buzzing. Yeah. Straight kick-off in stoppage time of extra time. A ball comes whipped in. David Luiz ducks. They score a touchdown. And little things like that wind me up. And it's like, Arsenal's defence has been a massive issue for a long time. Yeah. I feel like we've got two goalkeepers that are decent. Yeah, that are pretty good.
They're very good. They're very good. I would know because we don't have one currently.
I can't lie. Your goalkeeper's trash. Yeah, that's your weak part. But you've got decent players in front of them, so it kind of shields it. But I just look at the defence we could possibly put out, and it excites me to the fact that we've got Tierney, proper player. Yeah, that boy is fast, man. Yeah, and the price we paid is a bargain. We've then got Gabriel and we've got Saliba, but they're going to need time. Yeah, then I look at the right back and I just think, oh my God, the humanitarian at right back, like, you're not even a footballer, mate. Yeah, he's a YouTuber now. Like, he's a shareholder in Forest Green Rovers Football Club. Would actually level, mate. I'll play for them. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And that is the weak points, to make the nails there. Midfield has always been our Achilles heel. Yeah, even you could put Baresi and Maldini at centre back with that midfield, and they'd get exposed differently. And I just look at it and, like you said about pace with Aspilicueta, and they ain't got none. Good defenders don't need pace. John Terry never had quick pace.
It's true. It's true.
Tony Adams wasn't blistering quick, but they got it up here. Yeah, they sniff danger. None of our defenders do that.
And they end up lasting longer because if you look at, Rio Ferdinand, another great defender, but he ended up at QPR at the same age as John Terry was lifting titles. Do you know what I mean? So when you've got that pace to bail you out, when you have it, but when you lose it, then your career tends to end a little bit on, a little bit faster because you haven't been used.
That's what saved you. That's what's got you out of jail a lot of times. And that, when the pace goes, Hector Bellerin had pace when he first came in. Then he burst on the scene. Everyone remembers when he blitzed past Alaba against Bayern Munich. Yeah, where's that pace now? He ain't got that anymore. And that has exposed him so differently. It is mad because now you see that he actually can't defend. Yeah, and that pace used to save us. But before we move on to Chelsea, I want to ask you a couple more questions, right? What do you think of Pepe? Because a lot of our fans, like, I don't get it. Like, yes, I think we've overpaid for him. I don't think he's worth 2 million. But he had a decent season. I think he got 9 goals, 8 assists last season. First season under 3 managers, new league, benched every other week. Like he had Luke Shaw spinning around like a fidget spinner. Next game, he's benched. What do you make of him? Do you think he's any good?
The funny thing is on Twitter, Chelsea and Arsenal fans have a little banter rivalry with Pepe, and I've taken part. When it comes to Pulisic versus Pepe, I've always gone Pulisic because, you just have to be tribal sometimes. But if I'm being honest, and if Pepe was at my club, I would rate him. I would rate him and I would say, listen, Pepe has potential. I think he could have had a better season, but like you're saying, you've had 3 managers or what it is. He's not always playing. So you have to give him a little. And you know what? I have this personal rule is I give my players, I give them the first year in England, I give them 1 season to get them their shit together. So the first season is not a write-off, but I understand you're acclimatizing it, new language, new team, new system. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. You can see Pepe is very good 1v1. You can see he's got a goal in him. So I think you just have to be patient with him and give him time. I'm not going to lie, a lot of Chelsea fans, before you even signed him, we wanted him. When he was up at Lille, a lot of us wanted him. And then he had a very poor start to the season. And we're like, you know what? Maybe they overpaid. And you probably have overpaid a little bit. But that is the least of your problems. I say the same thing with Man United when they complain about Wan-Bissaka or whatever. That's the least of your problems. You've got a lot more issues than Pepe or Wan-Bissaka or something like that at Man United. So give Pepe time, give him a couple seasons. If he doesn't live up to the billing, then you can call him a flop or whatever. But he's got potential. You can see he's got something. He ripped up Liverpool, you know, so you can see he's got something there. Just give him a bit of time. Like I said, your issues, if anything, you want to get a right back that complements him a lot better. I think Nate Niles seems to play better with Pepe than Bellerin does. But even still, you'd want to get a top-class right back with Pepe before you judge him. Because another thing is with wingers is that if you don't have a top fullback, and you know how important the fullbacks are in the modern day, there's a reason why Pep's splashing 50 million on them a piece every single window. If you got the right fullback behind you, you put an Alphonso Davies behind a Pepe. I know it's the other flank. It's a whole different ballgame. Because if you have a winger in front of you and the fullback isn't overlapping, isn't dangerous, isn't even a threat to the opposition, they'll double up on Pepe or they'll double up on Hazard. Like
that's exactly what happens to him.
Yeah. So you need a good fullback. You need a good fullback. That's the issue for me. Get a right back. That's the problem.
Yeah. You just made a great point, right? If we had Trent Alexander-Arnold behind Pepe, Pepe would smash it. Every time Hector Bellerin, it's funny, right? Because, you know, obviously you see the warm-ups before the games. Yeah, they show it on TV every now and again. But when you're at the games, you can actually see the warm-ups, the different sections of the warm-ups, right? I used to wet myself laughing when I was going. Because you see Hector Bellerin, the ball go down the wing for him in the warm-up, and he'd whip a ball straight in. Yeah, the game starts. The ball goes up against a fullback. Yeah, he runs forward, stops, and passes back to Xhaka every time. And it's like when you see Trent put a ball in. It was actually against you lot. That ball, Mino's header in that 5-3 game.
Oh God!
What a fucking pass! What a cross! Yeah, we have not got anybody on that side of the pitch. I think Tierney could do that ball potentially. Yeah, Trent delivers that week in, week out. Yeah, Tierney's not there yet. Yeah, we haven't got that on the other side, and it's no coincidence that when teams attack us, they go down that side, Bellerin side every time. They don't come down our left-hand side. And now we've got Gabriel. They're fucked because he's 6'4", he's big, and we've got one of the best left backs in the league. They're definitely going down Bellerin's side. And
it's very clear what side to attack Arsenal from. It's very clear. Even playing left wing back when you switch to a back three, and this is why I like Tierney. I've said this so many times on Twitter. I don't even try and be biased with this. I do like Tierney because you can see he is he's very versatile. He plays the role of left-sided centre back. He plays left back as well. So this is a player that you can see has got potential. On your right side, if I was Chelsea, I'm attacking your right side all day long.
Everyone does. Sheffield United, Aston Villa. Yeah, Aston Villa, if you look at, they beat us 1-0 away. Every single time Grealish got the ball, just legging it straight down our right-hand side. Every time you play home and away, we'll attack down Bellerin's side. And the funny thing about it is, as I've said this so many times, right? Saliba's coming in for his first season after being on loan, right? And I see him against MK Dons. He looked really good, physical, big lad, can walk out with the ball. But he's going to have a shit season if Bellerin's his cover because he's going to be doing 2 man's work. And people are going on like he's going to be the next coming of Van Dijk. Lower that because Bellerin's his partner. Like, do you know what I mean?
I feel like you guys have maybe instilled too much faith and time into Bellerin. I know he's had injuries and you try and give players the benefit of the doubt to come back. But sometimes you just got to call a spade and say, listen, he had potential. He hasn't lived up to it. Now we need to go and get a new right back who's going to keep us on the next level. You don't have time for this. We're in a pandemic. Anything can happen. You don't have time for this shit. That's how I see it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I personally, if I was an Arsenal fan and I had Bellerin, I'd sell him. I wouldn't have time for him. Like, it's just like you just have.
How much do you think he's worth?
Right now, I wouldn't pay. If I was a buying club, I wouldn't pay any more than 25 million for him.
Totally agree. I found I think he's 40 million quid.
40?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't get it, mate.
No. Not in this market. Hell no.
100%. But it's funny because people always overrate their own players. A lot of fans do. Then you've got a fraction of fans from each football club that are realistic. Yeah, but then the realistic ones are then seen as negative and toxic. Yeah, which I just find hilarious. Yeah, I live in reality. Hector Bellerin is worth £2.50, let alone 25, 30, 50. Do you know what I'm saying? But let's move on to your team. Yeah.
Here we go.
You must be loving life. Real talk, right? You've got Lampard, and my youngest brother, he supports Derby County. And he was gutted when Lampard left. They loved him in Derby, man. He was getting them to do the bounce and all that in the crowd. Yeah. They loved him. But I knew he'd go to I knew he'd end up going to Chelsea. And I like the way that he's done it in terms of he's gone and got a job first and then done it. Yeah. The pressure's on him now, surely. Like, what's the expectations for you guys, like as a fan base? Like, because you've brought in Werner the Burner, who's just absolutely shit hot. You've brought in Kai Havertz, again, shit hot. You've got Ziyech, again, brilliant. You've already got Pulisic, you've got Kovacic. Kante may or may not go. Your defence, I don't rate Chilwell. I don't think Chilwell's
the same. I'm not a massive fan of Chilwell at all.
You've obviously got Thiago Silva, who's not going to play every week, but decent player. And then Malang Sarr has obviously gone back on loan.
Yeah.
The fan base overall, what are you going for titles? Are you securing top four? Are you going for Champions League?
I wouldn't say the pressure is on him, but it's not on him at the same time, because we are definitely, a lot of us are buying into the long-term project. It's a long-term project of at least, you're looking at 3-4 years is what we're looking at. So the first year was meant to be, breed through the youth, because we have a transfer ban. We wasn't meant to make top four in the first year. He would not have got sacked if we didn't make top four, but we did. So it's a happy bonus. Second year was meant to be make top four. We're ahead of schedule in terms of that, because we have now made top four and now we've been able to splash. Of course, the club never foresaw COVID coming when we hired Lampard. That's allowed us to take advantage of the market. Your likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, other big clubs in Europe haven't been able to take advantage, maybe due to financial difficulties and having to manage their money. We've gone in and we've been able to absolutely go for it. And of course, we had the transfer ban, so that helped. We got the Hazard money, the Morata money. So we are actually not even, it looks like we spent a lot of money, but I think our net spend is probably looking around 30 million currently, without selling some of the players we're looking to sell, because the Hazard money, the Morata money, loads of little deals that no one ever speaks about that have gone through the cracks. But everyone knows we have a massive loan army. So every year, some of those get sold for 10, 15 million and it starts to add up. So I wouldn't say there's huge pressure on him, but I would say that I expect us to be better. Obviously, I expect us to finish in the top 3 this time around. And even though it's not a big leap because we finished 4th on goal difference, I expect us to close the gap to Man City and Liverpool points wise. It's a huge gap. I expect it to be less. I don't expect us to win a title. I don't think most Chelsea fans expect us to win a title, but they expect us to at least be competitive and be a lot closer to the top. They expect us to be, first of all, not shipping in the amount of goals we did. We was atrocious defensively last season. It was all over the place in open play, from set pieces, you name it, we fucked it up. So we want to be better defensively. We want to have a better shape when we're defending. We want to have a better shape when we're pressing. We want to be organised on set pieces. And that's why Thiago Silva's come in for organisation and leadership, because we had none of that last year. And then Champions League, that's a knockout competition. So I always take that with a bit of a pinch of salt. You can get to the semis if you have a run like PSG did, playing not nobodies, no disrespect to the teams they played, but they played weaker teams than playing Bayern Munich in the knockout round, who end up winning it. So if you play Bayern Munich in the round of 16, you can get knocked out. So I don't place too much expectation on that. And then finally, I expect a cup win. We lost to you, got in the final. That pissed me off to a massive degree. I don't care what season it is. I don't lose cup finals, and I don't celebrate top 4. Top 4 is great, but I don't celebrate it. When I'm speaking to my kids in the future, when I'm speaking to my grandchildren, I'm not going to say to them, this is the year we finish top 4. I don't care. Like, it's a great thing for financials, for attracting players. I know what it means. It's very important, but I am not going to celebrate top 4. I was in my auntie's house when we watched that final. She's an Arsenal fan. Who was kicking up and screaming and dancing and doing all the twerking? It's her, because you guys have won the FA Cup. Well, I'm sitting there. I'm not sitting there thinking, we got top 4. Screw the FA Cup. No, especially with a young team who you need to breed winning mentality into. You need to breed confidence into. Lampard's first trophy, Mason Mount, Tomori would have all been their first trophy. It's huge for me to win a domestic cup. You place the importance a bit lower maybe when you've got a world-class team and you're meant to be going for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. When you're a young team, winning a cup competition is huge, because you don't want to be a Tottenham who haven't won a trophy since 2008. You want to be a team who's got a winning mentality, who is breeded in there, and we've got it from the FA Cup youth the FA Youth Cups, but we need to carry it on into the first team. And I remember when Jose Mourinho came in the first stint, he won the League Cup. And I remember Joe Cole said that felt like a Champions League, the Carling Cup. And the reason why is because it kickstart the era.
Yeah, that was the whoosh.
We wasn't thinking about, oh, we need to win the Premier League. Fuck the Carling Cup. We're just going to just rest. And no.
That's what winds me up with us. We've got Leicester City, in the League Cup. The amount of our fans that I've seen, fuck the League Cup, put the kids out.
No.
Since when are we that big that we can pick and choose what we want to win or try and?
No, you don't pick and choose, man. Don't pick and choose.
Because Pep goes for everything every year. He's like, it's a trophy. Let's try and win it. Yeah,
and especially this season, the reason why I expect it is because now we have a deep squad. Last season we had a squad, but there was a lot of players in that squad I didn't rate. This season we've got loads of depth up front. Depth in midfield, we got too many midfielders, if anything. Defense is still looking a bit shaky. If we don't
come our way,
most certainly not. We won't be doing that. There's no handing. We don't hand out.
Would you not have Granit Xhaka in your team, mate?
No. Listen. When we give you players, it's the players we do not want. The Luizes and we're not giving you players that I like. Absolutely not. But in terms of the depth, we've got depth now. So I don't expect us to be getting knocked out of third rounds of Carling Cups and Carabao Cups. I want us to win a cup this year. I don't care which cup it is, but we need to win a cup. 100% need to win one of those cups. I don't care which one, we need to do it. So that's my expectation. Third, better football, better defensively, win a cup, and I'll be very happy with that, yeah.
If he doesn't do all of that, would you sack him? Or would you keep him?
No. The only way I would sack him is, and the reason why I'm saying this is because we've done this yo-yo manager sack crap all decade. We've done it. So it's very clear that a lot of the players that are coming in, even though Lampard has still got a lot to work on in his tactics, and listen, I expected that. He's only had 1 year of management now, second with his Chelsea stint. We could have got an experienced manager, and then I would expect more tactically. And I know he's growing as he gets older in the job. He's not going to know everything right now. You can see he's experimenting with formations and tactics. So I'm expecting him to improve with the squad. But it's a long-term project. So there's a lot of players coming right now who, even though he's not the best coach in the world, they're coming for the Frank Lampard. The fact that he's the greatest, Chelsea player of all time, or he's got the most goals, or he's a player in midfield that defined a generation for England. They're coming, they're buying into that. That's a big thing for them. The fact that we have Petr in the back room, Jody Morris, again, part of the youth team. So it's a culture we're building. We're not necessarily building winners for next season. We're building a culture. So that's why the Ben Chilwell's coming. Even though I don't rate him very highly, I think we've overpaid, even with the drop-off in fee from 80 million to 50. I think there was other targets that I preferred. I had a long list. I think I did a video, if Arsenal fans on here that follow me, I wanted Saka because he was running out of contract for you. And even though I knew he wasn't coming, I was like, screw it, I'll take him. He can play left back, he can play left wing, right wing. You put him wherever, he looks good. I said, I want him for Chilwell. But obviously that was never going to happen. But with Chilwell, it seems like there's a culture. It's a culture thing. He works hard. He's overlapping. He fits maybe tactically to what Lampard wants in terms of a left back who's quick, unlike Alonso, someone that can get back for transitions when we're caught out. I don't rate him highly, but he's buying into what we want. So that's coming into it. So it seems like we're trying to create a culture in the club. And try and create some sort of togetherness, which is not, it's not something to shit on, because a lot of people will say, oh, you need technical ballers, why are you building a culture, or they run hard. Liverpool have won a Champions League and a Premier League with a culture, so it's not something to shit on. I agree there's a middle ground. I want technical ballers. I want world players all day long. You will not find someone you won't find someone who wants these players, the top players at your club more. But you see a PSG, a Neymar and Mbappe, and I'm not trying to say anything, but they didn't win the Champions League because it was a bunch of individuals. They don't have the chemistry in the midfield. Their midfield is lacking. There's a lot of great players put into a system and it didn't really work. And they got to the Champions League with the easier route, got to the final when Bayern Munich spun them. Sometimes you need to blend culture with ability. I'm not saying that you need to go one way or the other, but Liverpool have clearly built a culture and a togetherness in their team. Their midfield is, I'm not saying average, but their midfield is not top three in the Prem. While now them come from Newcastle, Henderson from Sunderland. You've got Chamberlain most of the time injured. But they're buying into what Klopp wants. And if you've got a system in place where the players are buying into what you want, you can get far. you can get just as far as a bunch of individuals who all do their own thing. So it's a blend of the two. You know, it's a blend of the two.
No, mate. Do you know what? I like listening to you talk about Chelsea, man, because a lot of Chelsea fans on that Bird app, yeah, that's right. They're very much
Bird app, you know.
I call it a Bird app now, mate. It's just a Bird app, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot. I get that football fans as a whole are the most deluded sports fans on the planet, right? A lot of them will just blindly back anything. But you know what was interesting? What you said, right? You said that it's building a culture. See, we've been told this, right, at Arsenal. Yeah, trust the process. That's all I keep hearing. Like, what is? I still don't know what ours is. Yeah, you have got a clear outside looking in for me. Chelsea Football Club have gone through the hiring and firing. Yeah, they've done all of that. People don't realise, right? So your net spend before this summer for the last 5 years, I think, was 100 million. Yeah. Because your youth setup, like you said earlier, 15 million quid for some player we've never heard of. You'll probably get 25 million quid for Batshuayi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? There's players going out, yeah.
But you always seem to get high money for, like, Morata. You brought Morata on big money. You got big money back. Bakayoko, you bought for big money. You've loaned him everywhere, and you're going to get big money back.
The thing is, what people forget is
and sell them for nothing.
Yeah. What people forget is when we loan these players out, there's loan fees and there's wages being paid, and we have a very good negotiator and seller in Marina, who's our not director, but she handles the negotiations and the finance.
Do you reckon she does that? Do you reckon she flops them out, or like?
I don't know what she does, but she is the best in the game. When it comes, she's not a scouter. She's not the best in recruitment in terms of you need to tell her who to get. She's not one to scout. But when it comes to players and negotiating in boardrooms and getting deals, you know, Chilwell was quoted at 80 million. Maguire was quoted at 80 million. One club paid 80 million and one club told them to fuck off and we're paying 50. That's how it goes around here. Do you know what I mean? That's what I rate about Chelsea is they don't pander. They don't allow you to bully them in when it comes to negotiations. You know, Havertz was quoted at 100 million. You know, Havertz was always quoted at 100. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United, 100 million, pay up. That's what we want. Same with Sancho. We've managed to negotiate down to, I think, 72 of add-ons. It makes a difference, you know, and playing hardball is important, especially in these times, to get that, you know, fans won't like it. They'll say, listen, it's FIFA career mode, you know, just press the financial update, just start dashing money. I don't give a shit what you pay. If he's good enough, pay whatever. It's just not how it works. Do you know what I mean? You got to balance the books, and having a negotiator that can do that is huge. So respect to her, man, because she's huge for us.
You know what? It's kind of jealous listening to you like talk about this because like, so I don't even know what we're doing in our boardroom, mate. Like everyone talk. We've got an invincible in Edu, who's our technical director, who just seems to phone up Brazilians, and says, "Yo, I'm Brazilian, you're Brazilian, come play for us." Brazilian core, Like, other than that, he gets free signings. And he ain't even that good at getting free signings because he could have had Thiago Silva and Malang Sarr.
It's true.
It's true. Like, I just look and I think like we were sold down the river when we got told we're moving to compete with Bayern Munich and Europe.
Yeah, that was a load of bullshit. A load of bullshit.
But you know what? It's sentimental at Arsenal. You have to stay with Wenger because it's Wenger. And look at what he did 15 years ago. Then Emery comes in. There's a bit of an upturn. I was going to the games. The atmosphere was lit. Yeah, and the Emirates is dead. The atmosphere was lit. It turned real quick as well. But then it's like, okay, let's just get rid of Emery. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people that didn't want Wenger to go jumped straight on Emery's case. Yeah, I wanted him to go eventually, and I backed him probably a little bit too long because I thought, you know what, he hasn't been backed. See, like people don't know this. He wanted Fabinho and Thomas Partey, and we served him up Torreira and Ceballos. He wanted Harry Maguire. Whether we paid over or they paid over the odds or not, he wanted Harry Maguire. They gave him fucking Socrates.
And this is what I mean. You guys can hire and fire as many people as you want, and this is why I have so much respect, and I've never ever been roaming out because even when people were questioning whether he's committed. rare tear, he's always delivered when it need. Sometimes we've won a title. Well, sometimes we've won a title and he's, you know, we've underspent and we haven't kicked on. And I've been like, what the fuck? But when we really need the backing, this man always comes back and delivers. I feel like you guys, no matter who you sack, who you hire, you're never going to progress until you get rid of Stan Kroenke. And I think all Arsenal fans deep down know that. And sometimes I feel like Arsenal fans, they know the core issue, but because they can't do anything about it, because it's very clear, look, you had another owner who tried to buy the club. I can't remember his name, but you had someone else who was below him who tried to buy you, and then it got rejected, and he said, fuck this, I don't want to have the smaller 30% stake. I want the whole thing. Was it
Usmanov? He's at Everton now.
Yeah, he sounded like he was. So does he own Everton now?
He's got a stake in a company that's owned by the actual guy who's got a stake in it.
And look how ambitious they are. I think they've made 3 signings this weekend. They're all in midfield. You know, he looked like someone who had ambition to take your club to the next level. Until you get rid of Kroenke, who's more interested in his American sports, he doesn't even come to the games. He doesn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? It's very clear he doesn't care. I don't have to sweet talk this. He does not give a fuck. And as a rival fan, if I'm looking in, I'm laughing because I'm like, I'm glad I don't have that bastard in charge because my owner cares. But if I was, he would be the first one. I would be like, he needs to go. And until he goes, you're not going to progress you're not going to get to the top with him there. I'm convinced you guys are not winning a title with him as owner. And I feel
I'd make you right. Yeah. Do you know what winds me up? Like, listen, I don't necessarily blame him. Yeah. I look at it the other way because I look at our gross spend in the last 5 years, and we spent 27 million less than Liverpool gross. Okay. Yeah, which equates to Sadio Mane. Yeah, so Sadio Mane, we spent the same. Where I do have an issue with him is he now owns the full football club, which he's done for about 18 months. Yeah, he's the full owner now, so he can sack all of these idiots that he's paying millions to do the job for him. Yeah, that's where I have an issue with him. Yeah. What I also have an issue with as well is you said about Usmanov, right? We've got a group called Red Action at Arsenal. Right? Yeah,
you guys are funny with your groups, AGM meetings and whatnot. Bro, we don't know.
All these people that go to these AGMs, mate, it's just to, oh, look, I had a picture with Arsene Wenger. They couldn't give a toss, mate. It's all just to go, oh, look, I'm a better Arsenal fan than you. They're all idiots. They drink skinny lattes and tell you to sit down at games, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but, Red Action, they put a massive long banner up at the Emirates saying, love football, hate Usmanov, right?
Oh, really?
Years later, now we've got Kroenke in for time. They've done a U-turn and said, oh, we got it wrong. But that polluted a lot of people's brains because they were a big, oh, look, they've got the banner down the side of the stadium. Like down on the side of the pit. A lot of people are like, oh, fuck Usmanov. And it polluted a lot of people, right? Then you get the AGM types that won't ever ask a proper question because they're scared that they'll get kicked out of the AGM or they get the season ticket taken away. You know, I'd be banned or arrested if I went to an AGM meeting inside a minute. Yeah, because I look at it and I go, yeah, the owner's a bit of a clown. Yeah, he's not I wouldn't say he's a shit owner. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a great owner. The reason I wouldn't say he's a shit owner is because we moved to compete with Europe's elite and be self-sufficient. We are self-sufficient. We don't need an investor like Roman when he come along, like the Sheikhs when they turned up, yeah? Because back then when we did that move and you had Roman turn up, oh, we're classy Arsenal. We don't need a sugar daddy. But now, fast forward all these years later, we now do need a sugar daddy because Wenger see this and Kroenke and the board, between them all, have fucked it up. So now they want to get his checkbook out. If it was you and you was the owner, and you've paid millions of people to do the job with the money you make as a business, and you see him completely gnaws that up, but the business still makes money, but the team are not great. Would you go, I've seen you waste my club's money. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just put out 300 million, go and spend some of mine now. Would you do that?
Yeah. The thing is, the reason why I'll slightly disagree and still call him shit is because it's not that he's not spending, like you said. Chelsea are quite self-sufficient as well. We haven't actually we haven't broken FFP. A lot of fans who don't know about our outgoings, like we've spoken about, they'll say, "Oh, Chelsea are buying the league." We're not buying the league. If you actually just check our sales to buyers, and I know that's not even how it works because it's way more complicated than that. But if you actually check sales to purchases, we are nowhere near breaking anything. You know what I mean? That's Man City for you. in terms of breaking shit. I think Man City probably more than us. You don't hear about outgoings and big sales at Man City. Now, what I do have a problem with him is that not that he's spending, is that, like you said, you're spending poorly. Now, if you own 100% of a football club and you have enough interest in the foreseeable future of it trying to win and not just as a business to make money, then you see that your club is declining ability-wise despite making money, and you do something about it. Does he know the game? Does he know football? Does he know what?
No, he couldn't care less. Genuinely,
he doesn't care. And that's why I call him shit, because he's a good business owner. I ain't going to front him. He's making money. He's rich as fuck. He's doing whatever he wants. But as a football owner, he's shit because he doesn't attend to your needs and he doesn't change something that he sees going wrong. If he's making money, he doesn't change anything. And he can see quite clearly that you're declining or that you're not meeting the requirements of the badge of what it's meant to be, which is challenging for titles, but he's not doing anything about it. Do you know? It's very clear that maybe I don't know the ins and outs of your football club, but if you're spending 27 million less than Liverpool, something tells me your recruitment is shit, or it needs something needs to be done. Now, you've got Saka coming through, like I said. Tierney was a great buy. Martinelli looks like a very good player. So your recruitment seems to be improving. Gabriel, another good buy. But you're still paying the price for, again, all of the shit that happened beforehand. Way back when, again, Fabregas, Van Persie bought replacements, but a poor owners from the top. And if I'm seeing contracts running out with a year to go and players are going on free, Fabregas and Van Persie, these players are leaving for snippets of what they're worth, I have to blame the top. If you have a company that's not doing it as it should be, and there's staff leaving, and you have to blame the owner, right? You have to go to the top.
Well, there you go. And I wish I had Roman Abramovich, put it that way.
But the thing is with Roman, is he's put great people under him. Like I spoke about Moreno, Pepe, who's just coming.
That is the difference, because all of our board members have been there since before I was born, and I'm 38. That's our board.
That's wrong.
That's our board. One of our guys, he stepped down the other day. To be fair, he's one of the better ones. He's a good guy, yeah. He stepped down the other day, yeah. He's been at Arsenal 74 years, bruv.
That's wrong.
He's been listen, he's a proper Arsenal guy, yeah, right, and he's not one of the shit ones, yeah. But our board has got an average age of about 70.
The thing is,
all about football.
Much like Wenger, football moves on and it leaves you behind. So whether these good, I don't know these guys, but maybe they were good back in God knows when, but they're no longer relevant now. They don't know what's going on now. If you look at any company, they usually will rotate prime minister, leader of the country or the UK. They rotate it. They rotate leadership. They don't have the president of the United States sitting there for 10, 15, 20 years. They rotate it. There's a reason why there's rotation in leadership, is because if you don't rotate it, you get left behind, or it becomes a dictatorship, which is what happens at Arsenal. It was a dictatorship. It was Kroenke, it was Arsene Wenger, it was all of this, and it was people who have been there too long and are too up their own asses to see that things that need to be changed. Things need to be moved on. There's a different way of playing football. Sometimes, back when Mourinho was at, Inter Milan, it was counter-attacking was the way. That's how they won the Champions League. Now it's different. Do you know what I mean? Barcelona, errors. There's
everything's now wing-backs, full-backs, free.
Exactly. There's evolutions of football, and unfortunately, your owners from the top have been left behind, and therefore that's why your club from the bottom has been left behind. Do you know what I mean?
It don't help when we've got fans that just accept it. That's the problem. Like last summer, I've been, you might have seen my Twitter or whatever, I've been going on, man. Last summer, it was, we care, do you? Like, they got their statement out of the owner's son. So that was, oh, look, we got them to spend 140 million by badgering them, pushing them. We're good Arsenal fans. This year it's, oh, well, we've won an FA Cup. He's won 2 trophies, apparently, because apparently the charity game, is now a trophy.
I have to keep saying this, and I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but that doesn't count. Like that should be donated to charity. It's that much of a tin pot trophy.
Well, all of the money gets donated if the fans win the ground. All of the money goes to charity.
It is a community shield. Like I put that on the same level as Emirates Cup, Audi Cup, Tottenham won the
100%. 100%. These fans, do you know what they say though? They go, yeah, but the Super Cup, that's exactly the same. Or in Spain, when they do it, it's the Supercopa España. Yeah, bro, I swear down, man. I swear we're the most embarrassing lot of the lot.
I swear, I'm not trying to do it to bridge the gap between Chelsea and Arsenal. I swear, I don't care. If when my team won the Community Shield, I swear to God, I don't celebrate. You can see
You're
when
happy, but yeah, you're happy.
it's literally a shield, bro. It's a shield. Oh, Ian, what is this? What is this, bro? Is this Robot? Is this WWE? It's a shield, bro.
Bro, it's just basically a big badge.
It's a badge, man. No, let's be real. It's not real. It's
no,
like
mate, I don't get it.
Yeah, you have to win something credible to get to it. Respect for winning the FA Cup.
And it keeps the winning.
I said, you won the FA Cup. I was hella jealous. I'm not one of them guys who'll be like, oh, the FA Cup doesn't mean anything. No. When you won the FA Cup, I was pissed. But Community Shield, I swear to God, I don't care. I don't care.
No, 100%. If you lose, you lose. If you win, whatever, great. Let's read some comments out. Get some questions in real quick. We'll do another 10 minutes or so if you still got time, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go for it. Shoot.
Everyone's loving you in the chat, by the way. Yeah,
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it.
Adam put a comment in. I pinned it a minute ago. Said this Chelsea fans less deluded than most of the Arsenal fans. Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah. Lord Jesus. Makes more sense than us. If you don't rotate, leadership gets complacent, says Alex. Thanks for your donations, everybody who has put them in as well. Do you know what? You made a great point about that. Alec Ferguson at Man U, yeah? Right? He always, every 3 years, right, Carlos Queiroz, you're gone. Steve McLaren, you're gone. Yeah, I'm going to get this guy in. I want that guy in. Yeah, because he always said this in interviews as well. It was like, I need to keep myself fresh because otherwise I go stale. And I think, well, that worked last season. It'll work this season. And that is where Wenger's issue was.
The thing is with him as well, is he didn't I don't know if this is 100% true, but it was well reported. He didn't take training too often, Ferguson.
No, you sit up in the office and watch it.
Yeah, he set his assistants up to take training. So when you do that, you have to rotate the assistants because that's like rotating the manager. And I'm not saying rotating managers is a good thing, but certainly training methods and not making players bored and keeping them interested in what you're trying to teach them, that is 100% very important. You hear players all the time. If you want to get the best out of players in terms of training, you don't want to keep doing the same repetitive shit over and over again. Same if you're at work. If you're at work and you're doing the same repetitive shit every day, day in, day out, same tactics, same shit, you're going to get bored. So rotating the assistants was huge for him. And there's no better person than Sir Alex Ferguson to follow in terms of a model of how to build a dynasty because that man rotated squad after squad.
Ridiculous.
He didn't allow no showboat. Oh, it doesn't matter if your name's Beckham, Roy Keane, Berbatov. He didn't allow it. Nobody stood above him in that club and he didn't lose the dressing room once. So you have to respect him because he's the only one, I think, that can do it and that's done it. I don't see anyone doing it again. No,
never again. Yeah, you never see a manager at a football club in England or a coach for as long as Fergie and Wenger and Peter. You'll never see that again. Yeah, no. Because that ship sailed now. Now we're in it's new era now. Can you do a team table prediction with Matisse? We do top 6.
Yeah. Fuck the rest of the.
Well, that's Arsenal fucked it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Fuck the rest of the league. That ain't my concern.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I think top of the league, I'm going to give it to Manchester City because I feel, and that's obviously if they don't get Messi, hilarious. That was never going to happen. But I do believe Liverpool will burn out a little bit. And what I mean by that is that they've been running rock solid, high intensity. And this is why I believe they're trying to get Thiago to try and control games because they've been running at high intensities with Klopp for 3 years now, top of everything, top of Champions, getting to back-to-back Champions League finals, winning the league, even the Europa League when they lost the final, I believe, but they still got to Europa League final as well before they got to the Champions League final. So they've been at the top of football for a good 4 years now, 3 or 4 years, running their asses off. And I just feel like now with their players getting towards 30s, Salah, Mane, Firmino, they're all late 20s, they're all 30s, touching that time now. I think they might just drop off a bit. And also, it's very hard to motivate a team that's just won the league. Back-to-back league titles is difficult to do. I think if any team can be motivated to win a league again, is Liverpool because they didn't get to win it in front of their fans. Klopp is a very good motivator. Their team look hungry and consistent. But I do think Man City will just pip them to it because they should have more than enough motivation now to go again after what was a disappointing season for them. So I have them 2 as the top 2, but just flipped. And then I have Chelsea as 3rd because, to be honest, with everything we've done business-wise, I know chemistry, players getting used to each other, all comes into it, but we should be finishing 3rd. Compared to what everyone else has done business-wise, we should be finishing 3rd. And then I have United in 4th because I do believe they're going to get Sancho. That's a hypothetical, but I just think it's going to happen because that would be far too much banter for me to handle if it didn't happen. And then after that, it's between your Everton's, Arsenal's, Tottenham's, Wolves. You know, it's very, very close bunch. It depends on the business that gets done. Right now, Everton are looking good, but we say that every year. Everton buy everybody every year. They look great. You know, Sigurdsson, Rooney, and then they flop. The only difference now is Carlo Ancelotti, who I rate very highly, obviously a former Chelsea manager, probably gave me my most entertaining title-winning season I've ever watched. So I think we have to take Everton a bit more seriously with that manager in charge. They've had a very quiet but good uptake in results since he's come in charge.
Do you know what? It's funny because according to our lot, that was my first choice as manager, by the way, after Emery went.
Really?
That was actually my first choice when Wenger went as well. But according to a lot of Arsenal fans, Ancelotti's washed up, finished and done, mate.
Yeah, that was never the case. And a lot of Chelsea fans were even saying that when he went to Everton. I said to them, how can you even begin to call this man washed? Because he's the only manager from way back when he won it with AC Milan that's coming through now, and you can see that he's not a controversial type. He's not like frictional. You see like Mourinho declining, and that's because he's having a lot of friction with star players. You know, he's very maybe set in his ways and he hasn't evolved into the new era. I don't see that with Ancelotti. He's a very calm, composed guy, but very well reported. If you piss him off and you get him to that, he will fucking come for you. But he's got the balance. So I don't see Ancelotti dipping. And the thing is Everton have been quite rich for some time. I don't know who their new owners are, but they have money. So, and as we can see with James Rodriguez coming through the door. So yeah, I expect them to do well.
I'm going to go, I agree. I think City will win it. I think that Liverpool's second, but I think you'll be a lot closer to them than people may think. Last season was ridiculous how far ahead Liverpool were. But I think Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United. Then after that, Tottenham, Wolves. We ain't getting top 6 as it stands right now.
Really? You don't have yourself top 6?
Right now, we ain't getting. Ask me again at the end of the window. I might change my mind when I see. But as of now, Wolves have got a good manager. They've got a good squad. They've got Jota, absolute baller. They've got Neves, baller. They've got Jimenez, baller.
They just signed Fabio Silva.
Fabio Silva.
I think they're looking at Alex Telles from Porto as well. Fucking hell, man. That's a good team.
And do you know what's mad? Yeah, they sold Doherty. Yeah, who?
Yes.
I would have took him at Arsenal in a heartbeat right back. He's quality, bro. Yeah, and but then I look at Tottenham, right, and people are probably go, "Oh, Tottenham." They had Kane out for 3 months, Son out for a month and a half, Bergwijn out for a month, 2 months, all together, by the way, at one stage. Reece was out for 5 months. Sissoko was out for 3 or 4 months. They've just added Doherty. They've brought Højbjerg. And it's Jose's first full season. I think they'll do bits this season. I don't think they'll get top 4. I think the top 4 are too far ahead. But I still think he's quality. I would have took Jose at Arsenal in a heartbeat.
Really? I think the only thing with Jose is that if you're bringing them in, you need to have a team that's ready to win right now, because that's what he's here for. He's here to win right now. I still don't see him as this long-term manager. I don't see him as this person to build.
Quick fix, 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think if there's anyone Arsenal should have went for, and it would have been very cheeky, and I don't know if Poch would have ever done it, but Pochettino would have been unbelievable, because you've got some young players. You got Martinelli, Saka, you got Gabriel now. You got some young players that can be coached, and he doesn't need a big budget, which is Kroenke, right up Kroenke's alley. Yeah, so that's a man that can take you to the next level. If you can take Tottenham to the Champions League final, you can do anything. Do you know what I mean? So that guy would be perfect for you, but I don't know if he's probably too loyal to Tottenham to do that.
Probably. Let me read this out from Cole. He says, "Hi Lee, I love your channel. I play for Chelsea under 13s. Your channel. Keep up the good work, bro. Matisse, been following you for a long time on Twitter. I was gassed when I saw you were coming on. Big up yourself, man. No doubt we'll sign you when you're about 33, coming towards the end of your career. After about 16 loan moves to Vitesse Arnhem."
You got this, bro. You got this.
Let's read some more of these out. Big up everyone's watching. 1,200 people watching this live. So
oh shit, love. That's
it's an absolute disgrace that there's not even 400, 500, 600 likes on this video. If you haven't liked it, there's 300 right now. Yeah.
Why are you man being stingy with the like button? Just press it.
I'm saying. And, what's your Twitter, man? Tell them your Twitter.
So it's just the app, which is just on your screen now, Matisse Armani. Yeah. That was told to me to do. Like every time I hop on the stream, they always tell me just put your app. So I just like okay, fine. So yeah, I've just always got that
change every time. I normally go golden child, non-deluded. I call myself. I write Spanish things in there as well because I live in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Keep them on their toes, but they already know you, so you can do whatever. That's my Twitter. I obviously put videos up on there. I tweet very often, even though I'm at work and I shouldn't be. And you know that is my Instagram as well. But you probably won't see me as active on Instagram because I just don't care about Instagram like that.
Let me ask you this question because I have got no idea about this. Matisse, what are your thoughts on Werner's problem with playing in a certain ground that are too loud? Will it be a concern for the coming season?
I personally, I've never heard of that.
Is he on a wind-up?
On the hypothetical that it's true, what I will say about Werner is that he has just come from the most hated team in Germany, right? So you have to lead their front line and deliver how he has. You have to have some sort of balls about you. Do you know what I mean? Even when he was linked with Liverpool and he was spreading his legs wide open for Jurgen Klopp, I said to myself, I don't know if I really want him if he doesn't want to be at Chelsea. I said, you know what? I tweeted this as well, and people are still coming back at me for it. I said, you know what? I don't really want him at Chelsea if he doesn't want to be here, because Lampard's whole thing at the start of this thing, at the start of his era, if we want to call it that era, is he wants players that are here to play for Chelsea. He doesn't want stepping stone players who come here and then want to go elsewhere. And of course, sometimes they may go elsewhere, but he doesn't want them implanting that in their head before they even get here. We're not a stepping stone club. And that's kind of how we've had Courtois snake us in the past and not go to training, and he wants to go to Real Madrid and da-da-da. He wants players that want to be at Chelsea. So initially when, Timo Werner was spreading his legs for Klopp, I was like, I don't know if I really want this guy if he doesn't want to be here. But it managed to convince him. He spoke to Frank, and once Frank picks up the phone, there seems to be a whole different tone to the conversation as it goes on. And he's here now. And I must say, I think his mentality will be good. He from what I heard, and I'm just speaking on what I've heard now from people who know him, because I've listened to a podcast where his very own coach went on the podcast from Salzburg, I believe, or something. So the Red Bull Corporation shit that they got going. And he's coached him, so he's been a coach with him at Leipzig, and he's coached lower down. And he said, "Listen, his mentality is superb. He's not a person who gets down when he misses chances. He's got a lot of variety to his play, a lot more variety than I gave him credit for when I first watched him. He's not just a Jamie Vardy in behind striker. He gets involved with the build up, his pass.
When I watched him, he's right hand side. Next minute he's on the left. He's in the box.
He gets involved. He's really involved,
bro.
Yeah, a lot of people, and this was before I started watching him, because to be honest, most people, Prem fans, won't have watched Bundesliga until lockdown, after lockdown. Some of you will, but a lot of us won't have. Until after lockdown, when we needed football, that's when we started watching Bundesliga. And I was hearing, he's just a Jamie Vardy running behind type striker. He gets very involved in the build-up. Pass completion's really high. He's very efficient, very quick, drifts to the left, drifts to the right. So yeah, he looks like a very efficient forward. I'm not here to say he's going to do unbelievable numbers in his first season, but I think he'll do well. I think he should do well. He should.
He's the exact type of striker Arsenal need if they're going to play Aubameyang left wing. Yeah, 100%. Just keep him in the box. Pepe, Aubameyang. Instead, we've got a guy up front, fucking midget up front, like a threat. Yeah,
like a threat.
Bro, Tammy Abraham scored him. Come on, man. People are going on like he's world class. Fucking turn it in. This is a good question from Alex. Out of all the signings, who do you think would be the best?
You've gone with Ziyech. Okay. I've got a very strong connection with Mr. Kai Havertz. That is the guy that I am just like. Of the signings, Kai Havertz is the one that I am buzzing about. Like, I just don't see, like, a lot of our signings, they're not my first choices, but because I can see where we're going, the whole culture thing, at least we're signing ambitious. We're not linked with Fernando Llorente and Peter Crouch like we used to be. I'm not. They're not my first choices, but you know, I'm not going to complain. Look, we're doing great business. I'll be spoiled to complain. But Kai Havertz, one player that we've signed, apart from Thiago Silva, who's looking immense as well after leading this team to a Champions League final. Kai Havertz is the player who I can't find weaknesses. And if they are a few, I don't care because they're so minuscule, I'd be nitpicking. He's a player that I see reaching the top level. I have no doubts. And I'm just like, he is the guy. He is the shit. Do you know what I mean? He's so versatile. He's got so many weapons.
Man. Absolutely.
He's got the height to get on the end of crosses and score headers, which we haven't had with Reece James whipping in crosses and no one getting on the end of them. He can play deep. He's very much a blend between maybe a Mesut Ozil and a Michael Ballack. He's got the vision and the creative passing. He can go out wide. He's got the skills, but he's also got the like I said, the heading ability, and he's got other assets to his game that can mean that if something's not working for him, he can do something else. He can play up front. Like he did. He played false 9 for Leverkusen after lockdown and played up front.
Yeah, first 2 games he scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
I think all 3 were headers, weren't they?
Exactly. He played right wing and he's got great output from there. He's played central, attacking midfield. So he's got so many weapons to him. I just love him because it just looks like no matter what situation we're in, no matter how screwed we are, he's someone that can do a job. Do you know what I mean? And not just do a job, but fucking do it well. So I'm very excited for Kai Havertz. So that's my guy. That's my guy.
No, I agree, man. It's hard to pick out of all of them because you've got so many fucking good ones. Mate, I'm jealous. I can't lie. I'm looking at your team thinking, right, you've got Azpilicueta, who I think is just fucking class, man. He is brilliant. Yeah. Your goalkeeper's shit, by the way. Right?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Amen to that.
you Azpilicueta. I think Rudiger's decent, although he gets crucified by your fans.
I don't rate him too highly.
I think that's probably because we had shit centre-backs constantly for years that I think, he's good. Ours are just slipping and sliding. And then I look at your midfield, like even the ones you want to get rid of would get in our team. Like it's mad. But love the videos need to play players who give 100%. Well, that leaves us with about 5 players then. If we could replicate Tierney 11 times, we'd win the league. Let's do one more. Where's it gone? There was a good one I see a minute ago. Can't find it now, but it was with all the players you've got. What's your starting 11? I can't see. I think it was Rickon who put it in. What's your starting 11 with all the players that you've got now? Oh,
that's a tough one because I must say there's going to be a lot of rotation this year. It's going to be very fluid, so I wouldn't even say this starting 11. And when I play this game, I always have to put a caution. The starting 11 is different depending on the opposition and the situation. I have to say that there's no starting 11 I will ever go with that applies to every single match we play. But if I was to go with our best 11 at this current point, I would have Caballero in goal because Kepa is that bad for me, and we need a new goalkeeper. Who we
the manager?
Huh? That guy, we're getting a new goalkeeper anyway, so it's fine because coaching staff understand that we can't have statistically the worst goalkeeper in goal. And then left back, I go Chilwell because it's something new. I don't rate him very highly, as I said at the start of the show, but he is someone that can improve with the right coaching, and I just don't rate Emerson or Alonso at all, so at least get something new. Thiago Silva comes straight into our team. I don't care if he's 36 or 67 or on a pension plan. He comes in because our defense was woeful last season, and he automatically improves it if he just starts speaking. That's granted the fact that he doesn't even speak English. And then next to Thiago Silva, I put Zuma. I think he'll complement him well. Thiago Silva, aerially, maybe a bit of pace. He's still good with the pace, but aerially, he might get dominated if you're coming up against a really tall physical striker. Zuma, I think aerially is very solid. He's very quick, so he complements him well. And I think he'll be able to cover for Thiago Silva if he steps up and whatnot. Right back, I go Reece James or Azpilicueta, depending on the game. I don't mind so much. I want to see Reece James more because he's the future and he's got the crossing ability, and in the modern game, attacking fullbacks are very key, as we've seen with Trent. But on the odd game, you're going to need Azpilicueta for the defensive positioning. So between those two, I go with Reece James to edge it in most games, but Azpilicueta will come in. I'll have no problems. Then I play a double pivot currently, which is crazy because it's probably the first time I'm saying it. Usually I go 4-3-3, but because of who we've got in midfield, it just doesn't add up right now. And also because we've signed Chilwell, someone that bombs forward so often, and I think you've seen it with Leicester after lockdown, he loves to bomb forward. We now, defensively, we were so shit last season defensively. I just want to change to a double pivot for the short term just to give us an extra body in there, because we're just not suited to defending right now. So I'd probably go Kovacic and Kante next to each other there, because Jorginho is going to leave. I've accepted that. And then number 10, I'd go Havertz. And then right wing, I would go Ziyech, left wing Pulisic, and then up front, Timo Werner. But that's subject to change, of course.
It's not a bad team, is it?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. And the thing is, I do want to play midfield free, because I prefer 4-3-3. Just overall, I just prefer the way it looks and the way that the build up starts with it. But we don't have a real holding midfielder that I have confidence in. Obviously, Mason Mount has been playing very well in the 8 role, and Loftus-Cheek I rate very highly in the 8. But I'm not happy with our holding midfield dynamic right now. Hence why we're probably tracking Declan Rice, who again goes into a double pivot. So we're a little bit messy there, but it's very small details, and it's not something I should be complaining about on an Arsenal channel.
No, that's fine, man. Emery says Zuma and Silva can speak French to each other anyway.
Yeah. The communication's key.
Well, that's the same with us, with Saliba and Gabriel. Exactly the same. They can speak French to each other. But,
and I think that's why we're tracking Mendy, who's at Rennes, the goalkeeper. We're tracking. He's got long arms, and I've never watched him in my life, but he's got long arms and he can catch crosses. So he's already improved on Kepa, and he's obviously going to speak French playing there as well. So again, you've got that communication between those three. So that helps. Yeah.
No, definitely, man. Well, listen, you'll probably sign more players by the end of this transfer window than we will. That's without the million that you've already bought.
Just from now, probably.
It's kind of depressing, man. The season starts in 2.5 days, and we're nowhere near ready, and you're licking your chops. You can't wait to get started. You know what I mean? But it's been great having you on, man. Appreciate it. And every single person in the chat pretty much has been loving it, and they want you back on again. So anytime, maybe when we play you lot, we'll get you on. We'll have a little
100%.
But no, thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who has watched live. Over 406 likes now. Come on, keep pumping that like button. Don't forget, follow Matisse. That's on the screen. That's his Twitter account. Go and check his account out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And make sure you follow my Insta, Lee Gunner 82. All links are in the description. I'm getting myself out of here. It is 11:15 in Andalusia. So I'm going to go and reload my juice and watch a bit of Netflix with the missus.